Welcome to Clause 8, the #1 podcast on intellectual property, trusted by top in-house counsel, judges, and policymakers worldwide. Hosted by Eli Mazour, we bring you in-depth conversations with the personality shaping IP. Brought to you by TradeSpace, where ideas take flight.
So we're lucky to be joined by Lisa Ascolese, the Inventress on Clause 8. We've had a lot of different inventors on Clause 8, but most of those inventors put their faith in the patent system and were somewhat disappointed somewhere along the journey. Even though they had very successful products commercial-wise, they found that their patent system didn't protect them as they expected. We've also had people from the patent office who are champions from the patent system and think you should get patents no matter what. So when I heard about Lisa, I was like, I got to have her on because Lisa, and she'll tell us more in her role, helps the inventors through the journey of successfully bringing products to market, believes in the patent system, but I think has a very healthy understanding about its role for inventors. So Lisa, thank you so much for joining Clause 8.
Good afternoon, and thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate and love the conversation. Can't wait.
So I saw we have a pretty similar journey, I guess, maybe in life. We immigrated to Brooklyn, New York, and that's where you got your start inventing, playing handball, and I still remember that game. Can you tell us, I guess, a bit about your background and what you think kind of drove you to become an inventor in the first place?
Sure, I always have to do my opening. So I was born in London, raised in Brooklyn by West Indian parents. So, what drew me to inventing is my environment, my parents, my culture, like all of it, I think. And innately, I am an inventor. I'm born to be an inventor. It's what I do. It's in my blood. It's every single day. You know, like you have actors who act and artists who draw, whatever. I mean, it's completely who I am. Innovation is in my blood, transforming things from one piece to another. So, my business is inventing A to Z, which is my day to day. But growing up in Brooklyn and playing handball outside, playing handball every single day after school, my shoelaces came untied. And if you know handball, you know there's no time to stop and tie your shoes. So I created laces that would stay together. And even then, I didn't call myself an inventor or know I was inventing. It was an automatic thing. Anything that didn't work for me, I fixed.
And how old were you at the time?
So handball was about 11 or 12.
12, okay.
11 or 12. But prior to that, there were other things at 9 years old. I knew I was innovating when I started tearing apart my mother's curtains and sheets and creating hair accessories and ties and things like that. So 9, when I started, the recollection of starting to create, but 11 or 12, when I was able to, after school play handball and all that stuff and love the sport, but always innovated and created since I was a little kid. And it's an amazing thing. You don't know that you're inventing, but we're all inventors. We're all inventors, believe it or not.
And when did you realize you could make that a career or, I guess, make a living off it?
Sure. So I developed a product called the Bosom Buddy Breastfeeding Cape. I was pretty young when I had my first child, and I was completely embarrassed to breastfeed in public. And when the kids got to eat, the kids got to eat, right? So I knew I couldn't do it publicly, but this is what I was doing. So I developed this product called the Bosom Buddy Breastfeeding Cape. Had it manufactured. I'll make a very, very long story short so it fits on this podcast. And manufactured this product, the Bosom Buddy Breastfeeding Cape, and started showing it to people and stores. I went to retail stores, which is not the way to do it, but went to retail managers and said, do you like this product? Would you buy it? Anyway, so found out the right way to do it and started marketing it to the proper people in corporate, in the corporate offices, and got a couple of people liking it. And Bosom Buddy was born into retail, into a lot of retail stores. So that's when I knew I had something. I said, if people are buying what I'm creating and developing, there must be something. There must be something good about this, about my brain, right? So that's what I knew. There had to be something there.
And before you came up with it, did you try to see if there's any other products out there that could
No. I mean, not to age myself, but no, back then there was no internet.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know the yellow pages or the white pages. So
Yeah.
I let my fingers do the walking, right? But
Yeah.
I didn't research. I knew I needed the product.
Yeah.
And I knew if I needed it, there were millions of other women who had the same issue. Wanting to nurse, I mean, not wanting to, needing to nurse at any given time. When the baby's hungry, you got to feed the baby. So I wasn't the only one doing that. I wasn't the only one going through that, the embarrassment of needing to do it in public or no matter where you were. So no, I did not do research at all. And because that wasn't the access. We didn't have that type of access back then. You didn't think about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're so lucky today.
Yeah.
Today would have been boom, boom, boom. Yeah, looking it up, checking out my competition and all that stuff. That wasn't the case. I was fortunate enough to just, take the leap and just go for it.
And I heard you talk about, I guess when you first got into it, you weren't really thinking about IP. I guess with that first invention, did you think about, I need some kind of protection before I talk to these big retail stores or these buyers, anything like that?
So it did hit me after people started saying to me that's a good idea, because back then I didn't have patents, or I mean, all of that was brand new to me. But I did start thinking and looking and asking people who were much brighter than I was, and were in the industry, and I got that direction. You should probably put a patent on this thing. And yeah, at that point I started doing my research, yellow pages research,
Yeah.
trying to get in touch with a patent attorney and ask some questions. So my first patent attorney was really able to give me limited information in terms of marketing or zero.
Yeah.
The patent attorney kind of stays in their own lane, right? Tell you all about patents, but not marketing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had
Exactly.
to do this on my own. So everything was trial and error, and error and error and error, but trial and error. Okay. And that's how I learned. That's how I learned to make other dozens and dozens of patents and trademarks and mistakes and flaws and all that stuff to become, get where I am today.
And do you remember what you thought about, like what good getting a patent will do? Do you remember like what your thinking was about, like, why should I go through this? Why should I look for a patent attorney? What was the benefit of all that?
I did. I'm a thinker.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, I went through all of this a lot in order to have someone create it for me. That part I skipped over, right? So all of the listeners out there, it's not just think of an idea and do it. There a lot goes into it, from creating a prototype that someone else can copy and create and build the way you want it to come out. So all of those things I was putting into it, sketching and all of the sketching that I'm not great at sketching. I had to figure out all of those things and hand it over to a person. I'm going, this person could literally take my idea. So how do I protect it? People are saying, wow, that's a great idea. One too many people said that's a great idea. And then I said, okay, that's it. I got to protect this somehow. I don't want to see this after all of the work I put into this product. I don't want to see it in 2 months or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 2 years. I want to be the only one.
Did you ever, I guess when you were talking to some of these big buyers, did they ever bring up, hey, do you have patent rights covering this? Or don't tell me too much. You should get an NDA or anything like that. Did that ever come up when you were
Never.
talking?
Not buyers. No,
Yeah.
not in retail. Nobody cares. It's
Yeah.
not, a retail buyer is looking to get a product on their shelf that's going to sell.
I see.
Customers are not looking to see if the product is patent, neither does the buyer.
Yeah.
You may have, I mean, we're Shark Tank will say, do you have a patent? Because,
Yeah.
they're looking to partner with you. You know what I mean? That you got to have protection there. But in retail, nobody really cares. Just get it on the shelf and sell it.
Interesting. I guess before we I guess, have you run into an issue where you're like, you had to rely on your patents, where you had a great idea out there, or maybe you're your clients and then somebody saw it was a great idea and it was selling well, and then somebody started making the same thing. Have you encountered that?
Yes, absolutely. So that's where the patent attorney comes in, and the relationship that you need to have with your patent attorney comes in, and that's called a cease and assist. So when you see something out there that's being copied, reach out to your patent attorney and say, you know what, I saw this very too close to mine. Let's do something about it. On one hand, it's scary. On the other hand, you got a great product. If somebody
Yeah.
else is making it and selling it, you're in a good space.
Well, yeah, I guess, a lot of the inventors came on my show. That's kind of what happens. Their product takes off, and the next thing they know, somebody's copying them. And that's kind of so what usually happens in those situations in your experience when somebody does get a cease and desist letter relying on your patents? What usually happens?
So in many cases, they will stop because it's clear that they've copied it. If it's clear that they copied it, they will stop. If they indeed started it prior to yours, because great minds do think alike. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? When we think of something, many times, I'll even say to my own children, I thought of this great product, my mental inventions. I thought about this great product today. My daughter will go, she says, saw that on Amazon, Ma. I already saw it. It was on Amazon. I go, just because it was on Amazon doesn't mean I can't make it my way.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question, if things if somebody's creating a product prior to the time you created it because they had an NDA and a provisional patent, then they have a good argument. Who developed this product first? So there's a little bit of an argument. If it's clear that the person copied the other person's product, which happens too, they do stop because they don't want to continue manufacturing something that they're going to have to take off the shelf.
Yeah. I guess if you come across situations where I guess they didn't stop and you kind of had to,
I've never had to, I never, people know when they're wrong. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
They know when they're wrong and they back down. Nobody wants to get sued. It's too much money for everybody involved.
yeah,
And for my clients, yes, I see that happening all the time. I assist them in getting, I say, don't panic. Don't panic. Let's get in touch with the patent attorney and see what we could do immediately. And in so many instances, they stop because they'll start with a website and try to see what they can do first.
yeah,
Right? Let's
yeah,
put this on a website. Let's try to put it on Amazon and see what happens.
yeah.
And it typically works. That's why having legal backup really does help.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. Uh, so I want to kind of go through that. It seems like your kids kind of play the role that I sometimes play for my friends in that I'm a patent attorney, so they all come to me with inventions, and I start kind of stomping on their dreams.
Yeah.
And so I want to, I guess, kind of walk through the process of what you would recommend somebody. Because I guess one thing I've actually heard you talk about is that sometimes the opposite is the issue, right? That somebody just comes up with an idea and they're like, all right, I want to go spend this money to get a patent. And the patent attorney is like, all right, let's do this. And then
Yes.
they spend all this money. So I want to go through the process. Somebody thinks, okay, there's this problem. I solved it. What should they do next? In their mind, they solved it. So let's go there. Yeah.
I love that because yes, they've solved all third world issues in their minds, 100%. And they want me to partner with them all
Yeah.
the time. You take care of it. I'll give you 90%, but you take care of the whole thing. That's another story. But anyway, so they come to me. I have solved problems and I did it just now because I watched Shark Tank last night and I know if they can do it, I can do it. And I did it. So now let's get a patent attorney and let's get this patented. And I say, no, definitely not. Did you invent this product because you saw Shark Tank last night? Yes. So, or my podcast with all of these people who have invented products. Yes, but they put the work in. So anyway, I will explain to them, this is not patentable yet. We don't know if it's patentable. So let's do this. Let's do our due diligence. Let's research kind of without putting too much information in. And I'm just being completely transparent in the way I do things, right?
Yeah.
Let's do some research without putting too many words in so that, I don't know, the world out there doesn't get your information.
Yeah.
Take a look, see what's out there, see if this is something that the world would buy, not just your mom, not just mommy. Mommy, do you like this? Absolutely. I'll take 1,000,000 of them. So not just your mom, but do your due diligence, look and see what's out there. And then if it's something that is the whole world will like, let's figure out creating a prototype, right? Let's build a prototype. Let's do a drawing. Let's figure it out. And then let's maybe do a search. Let's do a search. And then let's create, if the search is nothing's out there like it, then let's take steps to move forward. Maybe create a prototype, a simple prototype. Then, then take that back to possibly an engineer first and see if it's actually functional. If it's a functioning product that can actually work. I mean, I see people create things that in my own mind, I do the same thing. Let me engineer this couch to work like this in my head, but it doesn't actually function in the way it should because an engineer hasn't looked at it. So anyway, the steps would be, let's see if it works. Let's see if it's functioning. And then let's take the steps to go to a patent attorney. Let's go to Eli and ask Eli what he thinks about this. Right. So we come to you to say, okay, Eli, let's do it. Let's do a search. Let's do a patent search.
Yeah.
Right. We have the proper drawings. We did all the right because they're working with me. So they did it right.
Yeah. So that's the point, I guess, to figure out if your invention actually works on a practical level. But I like your first part about, seeing if there's maybe interest in it being a commercially successful product, potential for that. And I guess part of your role, you are, I think you call yourself a product broker, a product agent. And I guess, how do you figure that out? How do you figure out if something, if there's likely to be demand for your invention?
So, I mean, what does the world need? If you need it, I go back to the Bosom Buddy. If I needed the Bosom Buddy Breastfeeding Cape for myself, put yourself in the position of everybody like-minded, right? I mean, pretty much, unless it's something so crazy that no one in the world would use it. And I'm not necessarily an advocate or a person who says, let's get a whole bunch of people in a room and start asking their opinions. I don't like that necessarily. But I would ask a couple of friends close to you who are open-minded and say, what do you think? Is this something you would use? And do a little bit of outside research, but it has to. So anyway, so let me tell you something. In today's society, anything sells. As anything sells. We have such a great platform, from social media to YouTube to TikTok. Anything sells if you're marketing it properly. It's the truth, and it's really a needed product. Sometimes it's not needed at all. Do I need 10 of these in my house right now? Absolutely not. But I bought it. So
what is that?
This is it's a light. It's a camping light.
Yeah.
My lights were going to go out one night, or there was a threat of my lights going out. And I saw this. I said, you know what? I need a few of these. Let me have some fun with Olivia, my granddaughter, and I'll buy 10 of these and put them all around the house and have fun with my granddaughter. Do I need it? Absolutely not. But is it fun for my granddaughter and myself to camp out? 100%. So anyway, so people buy things that they don't necessarily need when they're marketed to them properly.
Yeah. And that's interesting. It's like maybe the real question is, can it be marketed in the right way to generate interest to buy it? I guess, I heard you say, like, you don't invent to become rich when you did. But I guess, are there any qualities that when you meet an inventor or you find out about their invention that you think, hey, I think this is going to be successful. This is going to be something that we can make work or market in the right way, versus, no, this is like maybe too niche. Maybe, I guess, how do you think about that?
Yes and yes. So yes, there are people who come to me with niche products, and I say, well, this is a limited market, and you're really going to have to work hard to get it out to the masses, right? Like this. Well, this is actually a very good product. But so there are products that everybody's not going to buy. This. It's a cell phone holder. Everybody may not like this. I liked it. I'd have to really work hard to get this on QVC. How many things can it do? One. Right. Does one thing. So got a nice product, but you got to work hard on it. You got to work hard to get it out there. Every kind of social media, every, TikTok and all the things I mentioned before. But there are products that are like, wow, that's absolutely fabulous, with your personality, with your passion, with your faith, with your due diligence, with your perseverance. Yes, we can 100%. I will guarantee you, and I don't guarantee, all right, so I guarantee 99%, guarantee you 99% that this product will do well because of you.
Yeah.
Because it's a functioning product that I really love and that I believe, and I use my family as they like they'll check things out for me as well. And yeah, then I'll say, yeah, for sure, absolutely. But you have to have my clients have to have a certain quality about them in order for me to say, to feel that. The one thing I say all the time is I can't have more passion for the product than you do because it
Yeah.
just won't work. If I'm the only one getting excited about this product, this is not gonna work. It's just not gonna work because you're not sell yourself, sell it, sell, um, without being salesy, right? It's your passion though. When you love your product, you're not being a salesperson. You're a passionate person about the product. And that you'll drive that home 100%.
That's interesting to hear that it's not about just the product itself. It's really about the person the inventor. The inventor who brought it out, and we hear about these great inventors, and obviously there's some truth regardless of the invention that's out there. So I guess my next question is: so you go to this patent attorney, and let's say I don't know if you have specific yet, but let's say you file a provisional or non-provisional patent application. What's the next step? What do you do after you get that patent protection?
So it's not even what do you do after that, it's what do you do in between. So because as once you have done that patent application, you're free to start marketing the product.
Yeah,
But even before that, you start looking at where do you think it's going to be sold? Who's going to be your market? Start jotting that down. Get yourself a website. Figure out, put it all together. Create it. In my book, The Inventress' Guide to Inventing the Right Way, All or Nothing, Now or Never, my first chapter is name it and claim it. When you name a product and you claim it, it becomes real, right? So even prior to the patent process, you know that the patent attorney is going to do whatever he's going to do whatever kind of patent, create whatever patent it is. You have to really believe, and this is where the passion comes from too. Name your product and claim it. When you name it and claim it, then you can start making that list of places you want to see that product being sold. You've got to be in it to win it. You've got to be in it to get that product out there before it's even time, before it's made. Not call these people, but make your list. Make your mental notes. Where do you want this product sold? What's the market you want to sell it to?
I want to take a moment to thank my sponsor, TradeSpace. TradeSpace is an intuitive AI-powered IP management platform that spans the life cycle from idea disclosure to portfolio strategy and commercialization. TradeSpace uses enterprise-grade AI to cut administrative workloads by 40%. So you mentioned how your first products you sold on QVC, and I think a lot of people still kind of imagine that's a good way to go, but obviously QVC probably is not as popular as it was back then, and you said you could just do it on social media. A Kickstarter was popular for a while. I guess what's the next step, like making that list of, hey, okay, I have this product, I'll create a website, but then what do you do next? Do you start creating a physical product, or do you start go Kickstarter route, or start trying to find a third party? What's your
Great questions. And I beg to differ. QVC is as popular. They're over 100 million viewers and et cetera, and still going. So
I
I mean,
apologize to QVC.
what's that?
I apologize to QVC.
Oh no,
No,
no, no,
kidding.
no, no.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
they're fine. Believe me,
Yeah.
QVC is fine.
Yeah.
But I would say, get a few products made, get a few samples made, put them on your website. Try to get some sales, but don't run right to don't think that, don't go out and make 1,000, 10,000, 15,000. No, 1,000 is okay. Don't go out and get that 20,000 minimum order quantity that many manufacturers will tell you to get. I've seen that too. That's a disaster and a nightmare, especially the first round. So don't go out and do that, but certainly have a prototype made, especially if now you have your process and you have your patent in process. Get some samples made, get some working products made, and start marketing them to everybody on your website, on TikTok. feel out the market. You're doing a test market. You're doing test marketing first. Okay. I mean, everybody gets excited and thinks because somebody said, I like it or I love it, they're ready to go to Shark Tank. They're ready to go to QVC. They're ready to put it in retail. But I say start small. I hate to say it, but you really one step at a time, baby steps into, large quantities, volumes.
So that's interesting that obviously because people have like a dream or like, all right, I'm going to take these steps and then something magical is going to happen. It's going to take off. Somebody else is going to give you that momentum. But you're saying, no, first you got to actually sell the product yourself. You got to find that customer yourself and not use somebody else's, I guess, get somebody else to order 20,000. Can you explain that? Why is
Yeah.
that important?
No, I mean, they have to feel it out. I mean, this is what I do. This is a part of my consultation, explaining to people, let's start small, right? I mean, they could use me to help them market and everything, but it doesn't always have to be go right to QVC, go right to Shark Tank, because that's what people see. They see me and they see Shark Tank, QVC, big, big, big. There's no reason why. I mean, I love thinking big. Believe me, potentially you want to see yourself there.
Yeah.
But don't get yourself so ramped up and disappointed that you're not immediately. You know what I mean? So that's what I say. Is just start reasonably. Because what are you going to do with that inventory if you're not getting it out there marketing? You're going to have 10,000 units in your basement or your garage or in storage, and when you're paying for all of this. So let's start small and test it. You can always get more. You
Yeah.
can get more inventory. Always get more inventory. It gets very discouraging when people order, and I've seen it 1,000. None of my clients ordering 10,000 units. I won't let that happen. Not
Yeah.
for the first time out. So test the waters, test it out, put it on your own website, and see what happens.
Yeah.
And
So I guess
then,
like if a retailer might order a bunch, but they're not going to pay you unless they sell them. Is that kind of the
no,
thing?
that's.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're asking me that way. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
So when a retailer orders a product, oh, absolutely. But you
Yeah.
know that you have that traction. You're going to order whatever. If you've gotten to a retailer for it, let's just say, I don't know, Walmart for argument's sake. So Walmart sees your product, you go to the proper buyers and all that stuff, and they want to order 10,000 units. Well, there's a lot that goes into this. This is a whole nother show.
Yeah.
They order 10,000 units. Absolutely. To have them give you a PO for the 10,000 units and order 10,000 units. Yes. I mean, it's all a risk, and I can't get into the whole retail, how it works, what are the return I mean, that's again another we have 3 shows coming.
Yeah.
So but I mean, there's a lot of risk, but there's a lot of excitement when it comes to
Yeah.
getting a product manufactured and getting it on a retail shelf. So yes, if you have the order, if you have a purchase order, I'm not saying not order less than what they want, because they'll say take a walk.
Yeah. But you're saying that maybe to make that sale to QVC or whatever, it's better to show that people are actually buying your product from you, and that's why that's important. Like that to take that next step of getting that big order, it's helpful to show that you're selling the product on your own. Is that kind of the
So what's nice to see is for different markets. So
yeah
QVC may want you to be exclusive depending upon the greatness of your product.
yeah
Retail stores may want to see your social media, your traction, what you're doing to promote the product, because they need promotion when it's going into their store. So yes, let's see what you're doing. Let's
I
see
see
you on social. How many followers you have? That's a new thing. How
yeah.
many followers you have? Like that's
So it's interesting when somebody buys a product from you big, they're buying the whole package, not just the product, but they're buying your ability to promote it and your ability to sell it and market it. That's kind of
well, yes. So
yeah
when you're selling to, I'm going to use QVC for example. When I go and present a product to QVC, I'm presenting my energy and my excitement, right? For my
yeah
client. I don't initially bring them, but I'm selling the excitement about the product, and QVC is buying it based upon the sellability of the product, my excitement, and what they see. They'll take a look at the person's website, take a look at their social media, and see that they're interested in selling the product as well. Because today, QVC, Walmart want to see that you have as much of a vested interest in your product as they need to have. Costs a lot of money to get into these places. Costs them a lot of money, QVC and Walmart, to bring your product in.
Yeah.
right? So they're investing in your product as well, not as much as you have, but they're investing in your product as well.
Yeah, that's a helpful perspective, I guess, what it takes. Um, y- y- I guess uh, the other thing that I was thinking about was, Kickstarter was very popular. I don't know if you think it's popular. What do you think about that pathway of like generating interest? Do you think when does that work? Doesn't work? What's these days?
I think it works as long as you're willing to do the work. I mean, so when somebody called me yesterday and said, I want to start a GoFundMe or whatever it was. And I said, okay, for this product that I'm working on. And because they need funding and financing and all that stuff, what do you think about this? And I'm going to say this. I said the same thing to him as I'm going to say to you. You can absolutely do anything, any part of marketing you can get yourself involved in to get your product out there is great. However, it's not here. Do this and I'm out.
Yeah,
You have to you have to be marketing constantly, putting videos out there. A GoFundMe is not just, as I said, set it and forget it.
yeah,
It's not that. It's getting involved, marketing, because nobody's going to see your GoFundMe page unless you're marketing it.
right.
It's all about advertising, marketing your product and having the people the same way. Why should I invest in your product? Why? It's like selling to a buyer at QVC or in retail. It's exactly the same. You can't get around the work, people.
Yeah, because I guess I'm guessing, maybe I'm wrong, but a lot of the people who are inventors, they're engineers. They're not people who are spending their time on social media, marketing themselves. Um, there may be people who are like, working on creating new stuff. I guess any advice about how do you become successful you know, on the marketing part of it, or like,
Yeah, so none of my clients are engineers, not
yeah,
one. None of them are
oh,
engineers.
interesting, yeah,
So I get the engineer to create a product that's not been developed yet. So they have the understanding of how
yeah,
it functions, right? Whether the product actually functions or not. So in terms of marketing, it's get your act together, people. So really building a website, showcasing the product, making it look like it lives and it's alive, and having testimonials and having people share about the product to create that level of excitement that you need to sell your product. Have your public feel like they've seen it before. Create a jingle, whatever it is, but make the product stand out. Make it you have to make the product dance, as I say all the time. Make it you dance and make the product dance. So marketing, you got to do everything you possibly can to market your product on every social media platform, and don't stop talking about it.
I've seen, obviously there's other businesses that kind of help you license your product, that you come up with an idea and you find, I guess, maybe a manufacturer that licenses that idea for you. You see that a lot in the toy space and so forth. Do you have any experience with that? I guess, any thoughts about when that's a good path or not a good path, or is it very similar? It's the same, just you still have to market it, but that just,
No. So I need to have you on my podcast. I love these questions. So really super important to understand something. And you asked me a question in the very beginning about licensing, and so one of my products I brought to Bed Bath and Beyond many years ago, and they took a look at it and they said, "Would you ever want to license this to us?" And I was like, "What?" I wasn't even there. This is 20 years ago, whatever it was, 15, 20 years ago. Would you be interested in licensing your product to us? It has to be patented and all of those things, right? So Bed Bath and Beyond, when licensing a product, or anybody who's looking to license your product, is they'll say to you, you need to be patented.
yeah,
Your product needs to be patented. I will say your product needs to be patented before you license to anybody. So everybody out there who says, I have a great idea for Kellogg's, or there's a brand new potato chip that I invented, you better make sure you protect it before you're giving it away. Otherwise it belongs, and you know this well. It belongs to them. If you're not protected, it belongs to them. Yeah, sorry, we came up with that idea years ago. So so yes, licensing is in the same vein. You may not necessarily have to manufacture your product, but certainly protecting it, doing the same things, getting the marketing information out there, putting it on your website, and yeah, just telling people that it's out for licensing. Okay. I mean, it's a really important thing to protect the product. If you're licensing your product, protect the product.
It seems I guess I want to get
And
some
I do
advice.
that, by the way. And I do licensing.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
help people get licenses, licensing
I want,
deals.
yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about I guess the advice for people who mostly listen to our show, and that's patent practitioners and people in the patent policy community. I saw you've actually, I think, spoken at USPTO events. Any advice, I guess, about let's say to patent attorneys about independent inventor comes to them with an invention, what can they do to be helpful, to set realistic expectations, to kind of help them find a path, even though that's not what really patent attorneys do. They don't build businesses. But, yeah.
I would say explain to them to explain to you, first of all, the details of the product, because I think, if I'm wrong, correct me. I'm sure many inventors come to you and they don't give you a lot of information about the product. It just does this. This is what it does. For a patent attorney, I would say explain it more in detail. Explain it more in detail. Where's it going? What's it going to do? Like what I'm saying to you now.
Yeah.
Where do you want to see this product sold? Give them that advice. Ask them where they see the product being sold. And I know I love all the patent attorneys I work with. I'm very, very great relationships. But there's limited advice because you stay in your lane. I mean, this is what you do, right?
Yeah.
You're not there to market products. You're there to develop, develop a patent and protect the product.
Yeah.
So I would say ask questions about what they see, what their vision is for the product.
Yeah.
And help them, guide them in that direction. Say, get it ready, provide, give yourself a list of places you want to sell your product. Think about it.
Yeah. I think that's great advice, because obviously if that information also helps get a better patent, if you know what does the
For
future
you.
look like, what do you see the market like, and all that. So that's great advice. What about for the patent system as a whole? I think you mentioned that obviously, it costs money for the patent attorney, but also for the patent office. There's obviously some discounts if you're a smaller entity. But any advice about, for the U.S. Patent Office or anything like that, about how they can help inventors like you and your clients?
I would say if there was an entity that could be developed for USPTO that could walk people through the process and help them understand what the costs are,
Yeah.
because there are costs, and because everybody's shocked all the time. My clients are always shocked every however many years. If it's yearly, actually some of my trademarks just came back. The fees came back, and I was like, "What's this for?" And I've been doing this for so many years.
Yeah.
But just create a program that explains there will be fees, not just this, but explain the fees, what they're for. Everybody's in the dark when it comes to that. Like, what am I
Yeah.
paying for? What is it again? Explain what they're paying for and when in advance, not a week before. They're like, Lisa, you got some fees coming up in 3 weeks. This for this for that. So explain the process and how much, what they're in for before they get into it. Not to discourage them, just to help them understand the process.
No, that's good to know, because obviously some people think, well, you just apply for a patent application and then you're good.
It's
But
over.
it's first of all, the process could take longer than you expect, and that's going to cost you. And then even once you get a patent, we've had guests talk about sometimes the most expensive thing about a patent is keeping it alive, if you're not getting any value from it. So I think that's all great advice, and I think kind of maybe don't provide too rosy colored picture about the process. Yeah, yeah,
I'm the most realistic person today.
yeah,
I used to I hold hands with my clients all the time and I walk them through everything. I give them the reality because I know the disappointment and the pitfalls that we're going to face. So I now give every possible pitfall there could be, and there probably won't be.
yeah,
I give them the worst disasters that could possibly happen with a smile on my face and still try to keep them encouraged. But they have to know that things can happen, may not necessarily happen to you. It's like going into surgery, right? You could
Yeah.
possibly die on the table. You probably won't, but the chances are, things can happen. Stuff can happen. So explain to them that things can happen and do happen. Your manufacturing may not come back perfect the way, you expected it to. You want perfection, but don't anticipate it because it's probably not going to be
Yeah.
perfect.
Well,
Not the way you anticipate it.
yeah. And it's because obviously you want a person who has the belief, that faith, and enthusiasm,
It's
but
hard,
yeah, but you need to
but
balance it with a realistic. Yeah. Yeah.
correct. It's got to be balanced correctly somehow.
Yeah. So you mentioned your website, your new book. I highly recommend it. I think it's a great resource for an inventor to really know. Like I think you call it A to Z because it's really we probably didn't touch on some of the kind of steps of the process, but there's not like a secret key you turn and then you get a bunch of money. So I think it's that's very helpful. And your YouTube, I think that's really cool how you profile Inventors products. You have like your own mini QVC, which I think helps them take that first step. Any
Yes.
final thoughts? Anything else you want to share with our audience about inventing, inventors, just the whole, selling
No.
products? Any final thoughts that come to mind?
Yeah, so inventors stay passionate, do it. Just do it. I mean, it's all or nothing now or never. And I'll keep on showing you this book. It's all or nothing now or never. Certainly buy my book, The Inventress's Guide to Inventing the Right Way, All or Nothing Now or Never. And I say all or nothing now or never because people put things off. Don't put it off. Time goes by very, very, very quickly.
Yeah,
And but make sure it's the right thing. Don't jump into everything. Inventors have these minds that go in 1,000 different directions, and everything's a great invention. Journal your product, name it and claim it, speak to the right people. Certainly email me, call me. Would love to help you out. But keep your passion. Keep your passion. If you're not passionate about the product, don't do it. You have to have passion in order to develop a product. If you're not, it's probably not for you.
thank you, Lisa. Thank you for joining Clause 8. I think you've shown the passion that it takes to be an inventor and to kind of, to be successful at something new. So, Lisa, thank you so much for joining Clause 8.
Thank you for having me. Have an amazing, amazing day. Peace.